No matter what happens in life, be good to people. Being good to people is a wonderful legacy to leave behind. I love making new friends, and I respect people for a lot of different reasons. We don't need to share the same opinions as others, but we need to be respectful. I think the perfection of love is that it's not perfect. Faith Hill is a big role model. Red is such an interesting color to correlate with emotion because it's on both ends of the spectrum. On one end you have happiness, falling in love, infatuation with someone, passion, all that. On the other end, you've got obsession, jealousy, danger, fear, anger and frustration. I think fearless is having fears but jumping anyway. Just because you make a good plan doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen. You have people come into your life shockingly and surprisingly. You have losses that you never thought you'd experience. You have rejection and you have learned how to deal with that and how to get up the next day and go on with it. I'm intimidated by the fear of being average. Anytime someone tells me that I can't do something, I want to do it more. Silence speaks so much louder than screaming tantrums. Never give anyone an excuse to say that you're crazy. Fans are my favorite thing in the world. I've never been the type of artist who has that line drawn between their friends and their fans. The line's always been really blurred for me. I'll hang out with them after the show. I'll hang out with them before the show. If I see them in the mall, I'll stand there and talk to them for 10 minutes. In my opinion, the only way to conquer stage fright is to get up on stage and play. Every time you play another show, it gets better and better. I know my flaws before other people point them out to me. My ultimate goal is to end up being happy. Most of the time. Guarding your heart and protecting your dignity are a little bit more important than clarifying the emotions of someone who's only texting you back 3 words. I've learned that from trying to figure out people who don't deserve to be figured out. I think every girl's dream is to find a bad boy at the right time, when he wants to not be bad anymore. I never want to change so much that people can't recognize me. Relationships are like traffic lights. And I just have this theory that I can only exist in a relationship if it's a green light. The cool thing about reading is that when you read a short story or you read something that takes your mind and expands where your thoughts can go, that's powerful. I second guess and overthink and rethink every single thing that I do. All you need to do to be my friend is like me. Fans are my favorite thing in the world. I've never been the type of artist who has that line drawn between their friends and their fans. The line's always been really blurred for me. I'll hang out with them after the show. I'll hang out with them before the show. If I see them in the mall, I'll stand there and talk to them for 10 minutes. When you say control freak and OCD and organized, that suggests someone who's cold in nature, and I'm just not. Like, I'm really open when it comes to letting people in. But I just like my house to be neat, and I don't like to make big messes that would hurt people. My imagination is a twisted place. Music is changing so quickly, and the landscape of the music industry itself is changing so quickly that everything new, like Spotify, all feels to me a bit like a grand experiment. I am completely fascinated by the differences and comparisons between real life and fairy tales because we're raised as little girls to think that we're a princess and that Prince Charming is going to sweep us off our feet. I think about food literally all day every day. It's a thing. When you are missing someone, time seems to move slower, and when I'm falling in love with someone, time seems to be moving faster. Even if you're happy with the life you've chosen, you're still curious about the other options. At some point, you grow out of being attracted to that flame that burns you over and over and over again. I've always felt music is the only way to give an instantaneous moment the feel of slow motion. To romanticize it and glorify it and give it a soundtrack and a rhythm. I think the tiniest little thing can change the course of your day, which can change the course of your year, which can change who you are. If you are lucky enough to find something that you love and you have a shot at being good at it, don't stop, don't put it down. I think that you can love people without it being the great love. I never give advice unless someone asks me for it. One thing I've learned, and possibly the only advice I have to give, is to not be that person giving out unsolicited advice based on your own personal experience. If you're yelling, you're the one who's lost control of the conversation. I have to practice to be good at guitar. I have to write 100 songs before you write the first good one. Anything you put your mind to and add your imagination into can make your life a lot better and a lot more fun. I don't compare myself to anyone else. I don't make comments about anyone else because they do what feels right for them, and that's okay by me. I can't deal with someone wanting to take a relationship backward or needing space or cheating on you. In a relationship, each person should support the other, they should lift each other up. All of my favorite people I really trust, none of them were cool in their younger years. I don't mind being pale. In high school, it seemed like everybody cared about being tan all year round, but I haven't really thought about it since then. I don't go to a tanning bed, and I get bored when I lay out. I put sunscreen on when I'm in the sun, and sometimes I get tan, but I don't really think about it very much. The drama and the trauma of the relationship you have when you're 16 can mirror the one you have when you're 26. Life repeats itself. I don't live by all these rigid, weird rules that make me feel all fenced in. I just like the way that I feel like, and that makes me feel very free. Songs for me are like a message in a bottle. You send them out to the world, and maybe the person who you feel that way about will hear about it someday. When you hear people making hateful comments, stand up to them. Point out what a waste it is to hate, and you could open their eyes. My experience with songwriting is usually so confessional, it's so drawn from my own life and my own stories. I've never thought about songwriting as a weapon. I've only thought about it as a way to help me get through love and loss and sadness and loneliness in growing up. I'm not the girl who always has a boyfriend. I'm the girl who rarely has a boyfriend. Poetry and lyrics are very similar. Making words bounce off a page. I heard that when Christina Aguilera went back to her prom, people booed her. I can't imagine going through that. If you know that's going to happen, why put yourself in that situation? I'd rather play for 20,000 screaming people, you know. My mom and I have always been really close. She's always been the friend that was always there. There were times when, in middle school and junior high, I didn't have a lot of friends. But my mom was always my friend. Always. There are no rules when it comes to love. Your feelings are important to write down, to capture, and to remember, because today you're heartbroken, but tomorrow you'll be in love again. There's room for role models who make mistakes. I am an overachiever, and I want to be known for the good things in my life. You can't be in love with a Google search. I've been careful in love. I've been careless in love. And I've had adventures I wouldn't trade for anything. I go to all these photo shoots, and each time I figure out something new about myself and what I want to wear. When I figured out how to work my grill, it was quite a moment. I discovered that summer is a completely different experience when you know how to grill. I love the sense of winter. For me, it's all about the feeling you get when you smell pumpkin spice, cinnamon, nutmeg, gingerbread, and spruce. Love story I wrote on my bedroom floor in about 20 minutes. Nashville is my home, and the reason why I get to do what I love. I think I am smart, unless I am really in love, and then I am ridiculously stupid. It is possible for a woman to be a romantic, but also to be single, and to be happy. I didn't know what a stockbroker was when I was 8, but I would just tell everybody that's what I was going to be. I think I have a big fear of things spiraling out of control. Out of control and dangerous and reckless and thoughtless scares me, because people get hurt. I'm the kind of person who needs to feel like everything happens for a reason. When you date a guy, and it goes badly, that's horrible. But if you can write a song about it, then it was worth it. A lot of people ask me, how did you have the courage to walk up to record labels when you were 12 or 13 and jump right into the music industry? It's because I knew I could never feel the kind of rejection that I felt in middle school. Because in the music industry, if they're gonna say no to you, at least they're gonna be polite about it. I like to write about love and love lost because I feel like there are so many different subcategories of emotions that you can possibly delve into. A development deal is where they're giving you recording time and money to record, but not promising that they'll put an album out. I am alone a lot, which is good. I need that time to just be alone after a long day, just decompress. So, I go to either my house or the hotel, or my apartment, or wherever I am. I go home and I watch TV and I sit there, with my cat, and I just watch TV or go online, check my emails. There are certain people who elicit a really passionate response. It's crazy. That's my Alexander Wang theory. I remember straightening my hair, because I wanted to be like everybody else, and now the fact that anybody would emulate what I do? It's just funny. I would love to continue in music, with writing, but I am not the kind of person who will hang around if I start to become irrelevant. If that happens, I will bow down gracefully, raise my kids, and have a garden. And I am going to let my hair go gray when I am older. I don't need to be blonde when I'm 60. As soon as I accomplish one goal, I replace it with another one. I try not to get too far ahead of myself. I just say to myself, alright, well, I'd like to headline a tour, and then when I get there, we'll see what my next goal is. I have this really high priority on happiness and finding something to be happy about. The story of us is about running into someone I had been in a relationship with at an award show, and we were seated a few seats away from each other. I just wanted to say to him, is this killing you? Because it's killing me. But I didn't. Because I couldn't. Because we both had these silent shields up. I can't deal with someone wanting to take a relationship backward, or needing space or cheating on you. It's a conscious thing. It's a common sense thing. I'm very aware, and very conscious of the path I chose in life, and very aware of the path I didn't choose. I believe when it comes to love, there's something intangible about who we are attracted to, and I don't think I have a pattern. I would like to do a duet with Taylor Hanson, because I have loved Hanson since I was 8. One of my goals from really early on was that, if I was ever fortunate enough to be successful in music, I would want to stay the same person and the same songwriter. If you're trying too hard to be the girl next door, you're not going to be. I'm always worried about everything. Like spiders. I think I have to trust that you end up with the person you're supposed to end up with, and that everything in between is there to teach you stuff. I try to read as much as I can. I try to read an informative article every day. I try to stay read up on our world issues. I love the ending of a movie where two people end up together. Preferably if there's rain, and an airport or running, or a confession of love. I have been singing randomly, obsessively, obnoxiously for as long as I can remember. Sitting on a bedroom floor crying is something that makes you feel really alone. If someone's singing about that feeling, you feel bonded to that person. That's the only way I can find an explanation for why 55,000 people would want to come see me sing. I think that when you're making your way up in the music industry, you have all these heroes and the reasons why they are your heroes. As soon as you get into the industry, your guidelines change a little bit. For me, my heroes now are great people first and great artists second. I'm always afraid of failing. I have to quiet that fear if I'm going to get up in the morning. For everything I do, I think about a 6-year-old girl and her mom that I saw at my concert last night. I think about what those two individuals would think if I were at a club last night. I never want to be arrested, and I never want to get a DUI. Those are my moral values. I still have mixed feelings about what growing up is, this thing that happens to everyone, so I've heard. Music is my shining light, my favorite thing in the world. To get me to stop doing it for 1 second would be difficult. I love hugging people. I still hug everybody in my meet and greet lines. When I'm 40 and nobody wants to see me in a sparkly dress anymore, I'll be like, cool, I'll just go in the studio and write songs for kids. My confidence is easy to shake. I am very well aware of all of my flaws. I am aware of all the insecurities that I have. The truth of it is that every singer out there with songs on the radio is raising the next generation, so make your words count. I think, a lot of times when you meet someone, you feel like you need to appear like you're not interested in them, so that they'll be more interested in you. But what happens when you start showing him that you actually like him? What's he gonna do then? Play the tape forward. How do you keep a guy like that? I don't want to sign up for that. Vanity can apply to both insecurity and egotism. So I distance myself, because I feel everything. I have to write 100 songs before you write the first good one. I don't know if I could do this with the same energy, and in the same way, all the costume changes and glitter and hair and makeup, all the time. When I'm in my 50s, I kind of think I'll want to be in a garden. There are so many emotions that you're feeling, you can get stifled by them if you're feeling them all at once. What I try to do is take one moment, one simple feeling, and expand it into 3.5 minutes. Some days I totally appreciate everything that's happening to me, and some days I feel everyone's waiting for me to mess up. I've never gotten thick skin. If you close yourself off, and you get this protective armor, there is a price you pay with that, of not feeling. And feeling is important when you are a songwriter. I get nervous for everything, literally everything. I always wanted to know, and I always used to daydream about what it would be like to stand on a really big stage and sing songs for a lot of people, songs that I had written. Daydreaming was kind of my #1 thing when I was little, because I didn't have much of a social life going on. I'd like to think you don't stop being creative once you get happy. My ultimate goal is to end up being happy. Most of the time. I feel the emotion that life conjures up in the songs I write get me closer to my feelings and realizing who I am. It's a natural process,